According to Darwin, biological systems evolved gradually, step by step. To create life from scratch, chemical evolution first occurred, and once life began, biological evolution produced a diversity of life. Both of these processes are gradual, step-by-step developments. In The Origin of Species, Darwin wrote, "If it could be demonstrated that any complex organ existed which could not possibly have been formed by numerous successive slight modifications, my theory would absolutely break down." Irreducible complexity is a concept put forth by Michael B., a biochemist and a proponent of intelligent design. B's idea argues that there are certain biological systems that are so complex and interconnected that they cannot have evolved through a gradual, step-by-step process. He claims that these systems are irreducibly complex, meaning that if any of their components were removed, the entire system would lose its function and therefore could not have evolved gradually. Michael B's concept of irreducible complexity is often illustrated using the mousetrap analogy. In the mousetrap analogy, the trap consists of several components such as platform, spring, hammer, catch, and holding bar. And without any one of these parts, the mousetrap cannot perform its function. B argues that this concept applies to some biological structures, such as certain biochemical pathways or cellular mechanisms. One of B's most famous examples of irreducible complexity from biological world is the bacterial flagellum, a whip-like appendage used by some bacteria for propulsion. He argues that this structure, with its various components like the motor, hook, and filament, could not have evolved by a series of small, incremental changes, as each part is interdependent and removing one would render the entire system non-functional. According to him, these systems couldn't have evolved gradually because the intermediate stages, which have at least one part less, would lack functionality, making natural selection unable to favor their development. If interacting components require each other to perform specific functions and cannot originate gradually, it is possible that they had a simultaneous origin. Michael B. wrote in Darwin's Black Box, "An irreducibly complex biological system, if there is such a thing, would be a powerful challenge to Darwinian evolution. Since natural selection can only choose systems that are already working, then if a biological system cannot be produced gradually, it would have to arise as an integrated unit in one fell swoop. For natural selection to have anything to act on, can a multi-component system naturally originate in one fell swoop from scratch? Obviously, nature can't create such a system in one fell swoop from scratch. Nature lacks such mechanism. Humans employ a specific approach in producing dynamic systems, such as a rotating table fan. All components of the table fan are arranged to create a static organization initially, and then the table fan is switched on suddenly to transform it into a dynamic system instantaneously. If irreducibly complex systems were created in a similar way, it would seem as if they were created in one fell swoop, avoiding gradual assembly. The creation of life followed a similar pattern. A static organization was created first, and then this static organization was converted into a dynamic one instantaneously. Now you might question what would have established the static organization and converted it into a dynamic system in one fell swoop. Surely, in the sight of the God, the similitude of the creation of Jesus is as the creation of Adam, whom he created out of dust, and then said, "Be," and he was. Quran 3:59. Here is another verse. "Do not the unbelievers see that the heavens and the earth were joined together as one unit of creation, before we clove them asunder?" Quran 21:30. Both of these verses indicate that, to create the initial generation of humans and the universe, a static organization was established first. In the case of the universe, we don't know much about the features of this initial static organization. In the case of life, all components were present simultaneously and statically assembled in such static organization. Subsequently, This static organization underwent an instantaneous conversion into a dynamic one. The establishment of a static organization is a prerequisite for such an instantaneous conversion. The sudden inclusion of the breath of life, or soul, is the essential event that caused this instantaneous transition from a static system to a dynamic, living system. Without the breath of life, which is an extra coordinating factor, the static organization will remain inert and static and will move away from life. Here is the general application of such verse. He is the originator of the heavens and the earth. Whenever he decrees a matter, he merely says, "Be," and it is. Quran 2:117.